Yes. If I could, yes, I will draw. If I could, yes, I will draw Jax. Once I know what Jax is. This is a thing I actually am aware of. This is a thing I became aware of. Total. I became aware of Total the Amazing Digital Circus because I followed the animation director for it on Digital Circus. Because he's just a guy who writes. I followed the animation director for it on YouTube already because he's just a funny guy who writes kind of funny songs. I'm just trying to find the page. There's another drawing I wanted to show you guys, but I can't find it right now. Yeah, I'm very proud of this one. Yeah, it's amazing.
Man, I love Next Wave so much. I love Next Wave so much.
Next Wave was one of my favorites ever. Some stuff came out about the writer. Let's see. I'm just got me thinking right now. The Amazing Circus. I'm proud of it.
Hello. So it was funny when I love me. How's it going? I was just thinking. Oh, hello.
That was funny. It's my favorite.
Hi.
Sorry,
I love me.
We're drawing Jax. That's what we're doing right now. See, I feel quite a great deal of sympathy for Jack, for Ami. I too am a very anxious person all the time. Often feels like I've been thrown into situations I don't understand.
Sorry, I love me.
And scare me.
We're drawing
Jax.
Jax.
That's what we're doing right now. Go. I want to.
No, it was fun. I don't get to act all that much. I enjoy acting. I wish I could do it more.
See, I don't think I'm quite
a great deal of sympathy for Jack for more acting.
I too am a very anxious person all the time. Often feels like I've been thrown into situations I don't understand.
I know Frank Miller is a really controversial person now, and justifiably so, in my opinion, but man, I loved his film.
What are you talking about? I'm just doing the first one that came up. I also really like Mark Waid's Daredevil run. It's very different from Zardesky's. 1 second.
No, it was fine. I don't get to act
Batman is a version. The point I've always been trying to make with all this stuff is Batman and Daredevil are...
Here's a real interesting question. Is Daredevil a rip-off of Batman? They operate sort of in similar environments, but I was thinking about this recently. But Daredevil lacks a key thing Batman has.
I might be.
Which is, Daredevil doesn't really have access to the money that Batman has.
Yeah. Daredevil's awesome.
They're both street-level guys who work.
I know Frank Miller's a really crime person now, and solve a lot more. But he said to draw Jax, so I'm drawing the first Jax that came out. What are you talking about?
I had a theory once that
I'm just doing the first one that came out.
Might actually be a better example for a Marvel's type of take on.
It might be.
I also really like Mark Waid's. You said Jax. You did not specify which Jax.
And I may have drawn it a bit too short. But
I thought, JJ, you did pretty good though with that Cyclops. I don't know how.
I'm with you having a good time.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
There has been so many studies. The point I've always been making all this stuff that show that people are more creative.
Okay, here's a real interesting question.
The two times people are most creative.
They operate sort of in similar environments, but I was thinking about this recently.
And it's always when the common is
but Daredevil
when people are alone and can think out loud by themselves. Daredevil really does. I know when I was your age, Jaden, I was very into the Daredevil Miller run of Daredevil. That was my favorite. That was one of my favorite comics.
Again, Frank Miller.
Isn't it terrible when one of your favorites?
They're both street level guys who work in crime.
In life.
Solve a lot more like
it should be a crime.
By the way, this little book is super. I will.
But he said to draw Jax. So I'm drawing the first Jax.
The best characters are always the B-list characters because they're big enough
that Black Panther might actually be a better example
for writers for them, but type of small enough that they won't get overtly obsessed with. Because they talk a lot about this with Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a really good. Has always had this problem. He has, since Spider-Man is so important.
You said Jax. You did not specify which Jax.
As a character, there's a lot of editorial control that goes on with Spider-Man. So it makes a lot of writers really struggle with that. Zardesky, who had a great run of Spider-Man comics, has talked about that.
A bit too short.
Even though Chip Zardesky is the perfect guy to be the main writer on Spider-Man,
Cyclops.
And would Zardesky is always theoretical. The great sin of modern comics is that Chip Zardesky is the perfect guy to be the long-term writer of Spider-Man. He makes the most sense as the long-term writer of Spider-Man. His writing style suits. Well, but he said why, and it's the reason everybody complains about having to work on Spider-Man.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Is because editorial control is so aggressive.
That show that people are more creative.
I've only seen the first episode of Amazing
late at night or early in the morning,
and the first episodes of Knights of Guinevere.
Late at night or early in the morning,
of course.
And it's always when common is when people are alone.
I had been working on a very similar idea, and I was very depressed when I saw that.
Really does. I know when I was your age, Jaden, I was very into
what I did is I just
Daredevil.
I had seen the comics and stuff, so I knew about this. The second you said that, I was like, I'm gonna do the maid one. Hello, yes it is. Hello, Scotty. Yes.
Isn't it terrible when your favorites?
Oh, you're a maid.
Yeah,
sure. You can do Daddy's World.
Hello, Corey. How's it going? I know he has straight ears, but I always want to give rabbits floppy ears. It's like name my story just after a random bit of dialogue or description. That's the way I do it, because it's like, I hate coming up with titles. Names in general beguile me, I have to say. I'm thinking, oh no, your Deku sweater from My Hero Academia. I hate it. I always spend so long coming up with names. Oh no, is it okay? He has eyeshadow on. I like this. So JJ, what's your comic about? Maybe we can help you come up with some names. So Rainbow, how are things going? I'm okay at coming up with character names. Just Jaden. Always feels free to make. Get Jaden. I like it. Making. I do. I think that's a really fun little idea. I'm excited to read it when it's ready. That's okay, JJ. Feel free. Me? I have before. I have the Meta headset thing. I haven't played it in a little while, though. I tried to stream from it, and that was such a disaster. It just made my head hurt. But I have played. I do have one. I should get it up and going again. It's okay. Jaden, writers, I will say writers have a lot of... It's very hard for a writer not to write about themselves, at least a little bit. That's the thing I've been struggling with right now, is I have a tendency to make a lot of stuff I write about. I like grief about losing people, and it's bumming me out just a little bit that I can only write about that. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. It's not an ego thing. Well, one, art is always a tiny bit egotistical, but two, it's perfectly okay. You're writing your story, Jaden. You're allowed to write what you want to write in it. Oh, how is... You like that? Yeah, I know somebody who's very obsessed with Tamagotchi Life, too. How are you enjoying it? I know somebody who's very obsessed with Tamagotchi Life, too. How are you enjoying it? The game I've been waiting for months is Paralives, and they say it's coming out. I don't know yet, but yeah, that's what they said. It's coming out soon. What do we think, everybody? What do you think of my little attempt to draw Jax from the amazing digital circus?